What's up, you dirtbags? We are back. This is the #1 podcast for dirtbags around the world. I am your host, Luke Eggebraaten, owner of Phaser Marketing, Dirtwork Marketing, and of course, the Dirtbags podcast. I've got my co-host here, Luke Payne, who owns Black Iron Dirt, Western Excavation, and Dirtbags Media Group. How we doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. How are you?
Not too bad. We got switching it up a little bit. I'm at my parents' house, so I had some Guinness in the fridge.
Oh, cheers to the Guinness, but you're straying away from the whiskey a little bit. Although I feel like whiskey's gone up, so we should probably start working on our whiskey sponsorship.
Yeah, I know we need to double down on that.
On that.
But huge shout out to my dad at Off Duty Chief. I'm up in Minnesota right now at my parents', and he set me up with his old studio and everything. So
you got the whole industrial look behind you. It looks good.
Yeah, it's the brick paper wall. No, but I was scrambling a little bit. I was like, shoot, Luke and I are recording a Dirtbags episode tonight, and he's like, say no more. And he just runs downstairs and hooks me up. So appreciate you, Dad. You're the man.
I love it. Also, shout out to Luke Eggebraaten for the new mic setup. If you guys could have seen our mic before this podcast, I had a little like styrofoam block that was holding up like a $20 Walmart mic. And Luke, this looks pretty good.
Yeah,
I think you drained the Dirtbags bank account with this, but it looks really good.
Hey, we're investing back into the Dirtbags Media Group, but maybe if Brandon could put up a picture of your old setup, I think people understand what you had. Literally that mic up on a styrofoam block. I didn't even ask you if you wanted a new mic. I just sent you one.
You just did it. Well, thank you for that. It's many, many podcasts to come that she'll provide us with. So thank you again. Cheers to that.
Yeah, cheers, man. And you sound great, so that's the most important thing. But speaking of the #1 podcast for dirtbags around the world, I mean, I want to talk a little bit about our last episode. For those listening, our last episode, we had James Doyle, owner of Innovative Lawn and Landscape, and it basically broke our podcast and our website and everything. It exploded and passed every episode we've done since the beginning in day 2. I mean, it was bananas.
Dude, he's a real dirtbag. Like, I would consider James a straight up dirtbag for that. There was I can't remember what it was. It was Will Power. He was on BuildWit and he had posted it on a story, and I had listened to that podcast recently. And the dude like fell asleep at stoplights because he was working so hard. And James was like, hey, everybody listen to this. And I swiped up and I said that. And he goes, dude, that was me in the union. I'm like, fuck, I've never had that type of experience. I'm like, dude, you're fucking hardcore. And he goes, hell yeah, brother, running hard. So he was laughing, but I was like, dude, you're a dirtbag. You are a straight up dirtbag.
Yeah, he might not admit it, but I'd say he's certified. So we'll send him his certificate in the mail. And it was great to have him on the podcast. He, like you and I talked about, we really want to get below the surface level with the dirtbags and not talk about what everyone else is talking about in other podcasts and other industries. And it's just, how can you dive into the real issues and the real solutions and, different things like that. So, the first few minutes, it took a bit to dive in, but once we broke him and once we dove in ourselves, it was like all of a sudden an hour had gone by. I didn't even realize it.
Yeah, well, remember we stopped recording and then we got into such a deep conversation that you started recording again, and we're like, this is way too good.
Yeah, so we're going to put out some bonus content. I don't know if Brandon had put it out yet, but keep your eyes peeled for that. I literally had to hit record again and, keep her moving.
That was good. That was really good. No, he had some really good insight. And I've always looked up to James. So it was really fun to kind of dive in and talk to him. Like you said, it was a little slow at first, but I feel like you got to kind of get that trust with people. Yeah. And it, maybe took him a little bit longer to get it with us, but once he got it, he was boom, fucking way up there.
Yeah, and I got to give him a big shout out too, because he, posted a couple things to his story, obviously, about us, but then he put a really nice video about like myself and Phaser and like what we do for construction companies, and we're actually rebuilding his website and revamping everything, and he gave me a shout out, and then like the leads on our website just started filling in. So
I'm sure.
And a lot of them, on the East Coast and some kind of all over, but huge thanks to him. And it just shows like, if you know somebody does great work, or if you know somebody that you trust with others, give them a shout out because it can help their business a ton. So it definitely helped us, and I was stoked to see him do that.
He did what we're trying to do. He
Yeah.
worked with you, he recommended you, and look at all the people that followed his recommendation because of what he built and they trust.
Yeah, no, it's huge. Like that's literally what we're doing with the dirt bags,
Yep.
except, a little bit of a wider scope of, yeah, do you need digital marketing for your business? Do you need a financial person? Do you need a tax person? Whatever it is, when you're starting out, you don't even really know where to go or who to go to. So you kind of just, drive to the local dealership or maybe ask your parents what to do. So Luke and I are trying to be those dirt bags that you can just go to and ask questions. Go to our website and look at who we trust and who to use. And then also, if you're a business, reach out to us as well because we'd like to see how you can help some of our listeners as well.
We want to be those tools in the right way of the word tools.
I was going to say the first thought I had was not a good tool.
I was laughing when I was thinking about that. I was like, this could go one of two ways. I have to specify. But no, you're 100% right.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
I was gonna say something stupid. I was gonna say, yeah, we want to be the tools.
Yeah, tools, dirtbag, same thing. But speaking of podcasts, I think we have a really good next guest coming up. I think that one's going to break a lot of charts, and then it's just going to be a really good conversation because I know a lot of people look up to him from what he's built.
Yeah, Spotify actually contacted me, and they got wind of who we're having on the next guest, and they said we're warming up your seat at number 1 in the business section. So
yes, look out, Andy Priscilla.
It's gonna break the charts. So who do we got next Dirtbags episode? I believe it's episode 8.
Mr. Big G, Garrett Williams, G&M Outdoor Services.
Dude,
I love it.
It's gonna be electric. The dude is still like, I believe he's like early 20s, like 23 or so, and he's just killing it.
See, I thought he was like 21, but you're probably right. He's probably 22 or 23. And the business he's built, it just impresses the hell out of me. I follow him obviously on, my personal and then Black Iron stuff. And I always feel like he's got such a positive attitude towards everything.
Yeah, I was gonna say that impresses me more than whatever business or however many trucks or skid steers he has, but it's his attitude towards it, and I just love that. I mean, it's infectious. It's affecting people around him in a positive way, and also if you look at his business or if you follow Garrett, you'll see he's not just doing things for himself or for his business. They're in every parade. They're in all over, supporting the school system, probably Girl Scouts. I mean, you name it, they're doing it. It's like, man, what a cool, and it's not just him as well. I know he's partners with his sister, and they have
an incredible team.
Yeah, their leadership team, and Garrett will probably be the first one to tell you it's not just him that makes it happen. So, but huge shout out to Garrett. We are stoked to have him on. At the time of this recording, we have not talked to him yet on the show, so it is all going to be fresh. With that, send us your questions whenever this airs, which will be on Friday. Send us your questions to us on Instagram, the Dirtbags Podcast, or just message myself at Phaser Marketing or Luke at Black Iron Dirt, because we're gonna ask him those questions on the podcast, and whatever you want, we'll probably throw out there to him.
And I've got a lot of questions myself for him because me too. I'm like, how the hell are you doing this, or how did you set this up? So I think it's a really good opportunity to really kind of dive in with him. And again, we've seen him on a couple different, not podcasts, but like YouTube short clips about, talking about some things, answering some things. But I feel like that's such surface level stuff to where we really want to get deep.
Yeah. And he loves dirt bikes too. So, what does he do outside of the business too? Because I know that's a huge part too. It's, what do guys like to do besides business? And I know for you and I, business is our hobby. Like we love this stuff. So it's interesting to dive into what people like, what people love, and what really can break people down as well.
Yeah. And then we kind of talked about this with James a little bit, but I wanted to dive into a little bit more. We just ran out of time, but like stress. Obviously everybody has so much stress built up with business. How do other people cope with it? Like him, does he ride dirt bikes? Does he fish? What else does he do to kind of offset those stress levels to kind of bring him down and give them the, it is what it is, roll with the punches type mentality.
Dude, how cool is it to see after that episode with James, the messages that came in of people. I had messages from people that were in their 40s and 50s and in their low 20s saying like how cool it was to actually see this deep of a conversation in the industry, because I don't know if it's out there as deep as it was or if they just can relate to maybe us, but it was incredible, man. And I tried to screenshot all of them, but something really cool to look out for.
I know you sent me like you sent the Dirtbags group
Yeah.
like 15 of them, and I was like, holy shit. But again, everybody, I feel like so many other there's a lot of podcasts out there, obviously, but all of the other ones are so surface level. It's like, oh, tell us your story. Oh, when did you buy your first piece of equipment? I don't want to know that. I want to know when you were at your lowest point in your life, what brought you back, what were your motivators, and how did you offset that and learn and go forward.
Right.
So
yeah, and I think, there's definitely a lot of great podcasts out there, and I think we're just taking a different approach at it, and because I listen to a ton of podcasts in the industry, and I love almost every single one of them, but we're just trying to give something a little different too, and do it in a way. And this is a big shout out to our producer Brandon. He helps edit the entire podcast. He does the snippets. He tries to do his best to make us look halfway decent, and he's been awesome to work with. He's been on our Phaser marketing team. I think we crossed his 2-year anniversary, so he's been with me for a long time.
The coolest thing about that, he's still in school.
Dude, he's trying to grind out. He's at the University of Tennessee. I believe it's in Knoxville. And
good for him.
That poor guy, he's like, I'm just telling him, I can't tell him not to finish school because his mom would probably not like me for that. But he's like, dude, once I get done, I'm going balls to the wall, Phaser. Like, we're going to do so much on the podcast side and the video editing and all that. I'm like, dude, get done with school and I'll be here.
Hell yeah, I love that. No, Brandon's such a good dude. I love having him on our team. He again is just so like, yeah, let's do it. Great idea. Or if he doesn't like something, he does speak up, which I think I appreciate more. Because again, he has the eye, he has the ear for, what we're trying to achieve too. So
yeah, we're gonna try and get him out to Con Expo actually.
That would be fun.
And just to get some more video content. I know that's becoming more common of just not like a vlog, but just having somebody out there to capture those moments and have the B-roll footage and have some of those things going on. And he's just such a stud. So I was like, dude, I'll buy the ticket and get you out here if you want to come.
Fuck yeah. No, that would be really fun to have him out. He would be really fun to have.
Yeah. So that's good stuff. So I want to dive into a little bit. Obviously, I'm more on the digital marketing side for construction companies. One thing I wanted to touch on, and I've preached to the choirs quite a bit about LinkedIn. Everyone listening here is probably on Instagram. Like, Instagram's got this cult following for excavation companies, and it's awesome. But for some reason, half of you are on LinkedIn, and the other half of that half aren't utilizing your LinkedIn. So I know you were just talking to me off air, talking to me about your LinkedIn strategy, and it sounds like it's just killing it.
Dude, I didn't really I obviously knew LinkedIn was a tool. I don't think I really understand how to use it, but I don't think there's a perfect way to use it, right? Yeah. One, back to the Instagram piece. Instagram is only a dick swinging contest, right? Whoever can take the coolest picture, whoever can put out the coolest videos, hell yeah, you're going to get a lot of likes. But with all those likes, are they going to get you jobs? Probably not. Maybe one or two, but you're probably not going to get a lot of jobs for that.
Right.
But LinkedIn, yeah, dude, in the last literally a week, and I don't do a whole, I post on my LinkedIn. I need to post more, but I want to keep things kind of fresh and kind of with what we're doing, right? I don't want people to get bored of what we put out. So I'd say I post probably every week, maybe 2 weeks. And in the last week, I've had 5 different, commercial general contractors reach out and request that we be on their bid list. And again, there's a couple one from the cities, couple from North Dakota. There was even a guy from Montana that was a general contractor that kept liking my post. And I was like, well, that's really cool. That would be fun to do something. Granted, we're, more North Dakota based, but it just shows if you show your work in a professional setting, I feel like the right people will see it, or, the people within that company will see it and pass it along. And And yeah, it's just been a great tool. Granted, has it led us to anything yet with job wise?
Right.
No. Are they coming? 100%. And that's where Luke, you and I were talking, like on the phaser side, business owners like me, we still have to put in all the, not all the legwork, but we have to put in a lot of legwork. You
Right.
don't own the company. We own the company. You're there to strengthen our back end stuff. You're there
Right.
to make sure that we have our presence, right? It's our job to pick up the phone still.
Yeah, 100%. It's amazing. I'd say 95% of the construction companies we work with, they totally understand that. Where they don't just hire us and say, "Here you go, Luke, go run our business." I'm like, it doesn't work
Doesn't
like
work that
that.
way.
But what it can do, and in your case, and in most of our clients, they hire us and they continue to go out and grind and do the things they need to be doing,
Yep.
jumping on the phone, even posting on their personal LinkedIn, showcasing what they do. That coupled with what we do on the back end with their website, some of the SEO stuff, cleaning up their graphic design, it's like, man, you put those things together and you do that consistently over time. We're not just planning for the next 3 weeks here. We're planning for the next 3 years,
Yep.
5 years.
10
And
years.
that's why I'm glad you brought that up on the LinkedIn stuff, because you didn't start that saying, okay, if I don't get 3 jobs in 3 months here, I'm done. It's like, no, I'm going to showcase our stuff
Yep.
because I realize this is a positive marketing habit that I should be doing. So I'm just going to keep showcasing our stuff. Where do people hang out that own these big commercial companies or these big construction companies or home builders? A lot of them, those presidents are on LinkedIn and they see your stuff and they're like, I'll give this guy a flyer. He does great work. He seems reliable. He's obviously maybe organized if he's posting on LinkedIn and doing all this stuff. So yeah, let's give him a flyer and put him on our bid list, and then that can lead to years and years of work and projects and whatever you want, like a solid relationship.
Yeah, just building those relationships, like you said. I think Keaton Turner said it, but I asked him on a question, and I basically was like, Keaton, what is the best way to get in front of like general contractors? And his response was cheap prices and hats. So I've been trying the hat game out to where I've got like, I think I have 100 Western hats, and then I've got like 200 black iron hats that I'm just gonna send out to people with a handwritten
Yeah.
note. I obviously can only show them cheap prices when they send me bids, but I'll have a
Right.
fun written letter to them. So,
Dude, I love that. Obviously, I mean, we've been doing that for years. The
yep,
handwritten note with the merch, it sets you apart because the way I look at it, if you can't win them with your price, which you don't
yep,
really want to win them with your price anyway, but you can win them with like your trust and your honesty, and they just know you're a good person, and you sent like this handwritten note. It's like if you can win them however you do, and it's an honest way. I mean, I'll chalk that up as a win for sure. So,
oh, 100%. And just showing that you're a person to them, right?
yeah,
Showing that you can have a good conversation with them. Again, building that trust. So,
yeah. The great part is nobody's doing it. So if you want to know how to get work or get somebody to work with you or new clients, like whatever it is, do the things that people aren't doing, and that's sitting down, taking time, and writing handwritten notes or letters. I mean,
yep.
nobody's doing it because it does take time, and if you don't want to do it, you don't have to. But it's a huge difference maker.
Correct. But at the same time, too, there is such an opportunity with that because, like you said, there's not a lot of people that are doing it.
Yeah,
Like people will just think that they have a website and then they're immediately going to be set up to where, yep, people are just going to find me and come to me.
yeah,
No, that's not how it works. I
yeah,
feel like every contractor out there is always looking to make good relationships with people. And as long as, you get in front of it, might take a couple, say a couple calls, couple texts, couple emails, whatever it will be. I bet they'll probably give you a shot just because you're not answered to or denied once doesn't mean that you can't check up on them again, say 3 months or 2 months down the road and say, hey, this is so and so. Just kind of following up, wanted to see if I could help with anything. If you guys are, lacking in an area or whatever it may be, what can I help with? Just wanted to check in. I bet they'll probably respond and they might even have something for you. I know I was at a bachelor party this last weekend and I was talking to, it was actually he's an owner of a big GC here in town. His son and I went to high school together. And we were talking and it was just really fun to kind of just converse with him. And, we had a couple drinks in us and we were actually playing beer pong. It was,
oh,
they're like 55 and it was me and another guy, and we were just kicking the shit out of him. And he's like, "You never fucking left high school," just chirping us. So it was a lot of fun. But then after that, after we got done beating him, I was sitting down and talking to him. And I was just kind of asking him, I was like, what are, from what you see, what are some of the things that people need to improve on in my space? And he just went on a tangent. It's basically like, I hate this. So many people do this. They aren't reliable. They don't communicate. And I was like, that's what I'm not trying to plug myself, but I was like, that's what I'm trying to build my space on. Here's my card. Get me on your bid list. And he was like, hell yeah. I didn't know you could do this shit. And I'm like, yes, please. So that was another good, but drinking does have its perks for people
absolutely.
like us drinking on the podcast.
Yeah. No, and I was talking to somebody about that today actually. So we were talking about just how, honestly, if you just do the right things and you be a decent person and you communicate well, like that already puts you in the
top bracket,
the 90th percentile among other construction companies. And it's the sad truth, but I am seeing like a lot of these, younger guys too, get into it, and they're seeing some immediate success just because they're answering their phone, they're getting back to people. And I do understand that it does get to a point where you do hit a ceiling and you get overwhelmed and overworked, but there are ways to combat that, and that kind of gets into the delegating and bringing more people into your team. But man, just being a halfway decent human, answering your phone and communicating well, a lot of times that's what these GCs and big companies are looking for.
Correct. Literally when somebody calls you, I know so many times where I've seen it where people are like, oh, I'm not going to fucking talk to them. I'm like, you should probably answer that, because just by you answering, it shows that you care. Like if you don't answer it, that just shows me I have an opportunity to take over, whatever you're doing. Granted, different spaces, I'm sure, but yeah, I'm just like, what the fuck? Practice what you preach,
Yeah, dude, that's a good point too. Crazy. So with the podcast, obviously we're cooking now. I had put out a post, I think on the Dirtbags Instagram. It was like less than a month ago. I was like, we hit our first 1,000 downloads. Like, you guys are the best. Like, Dirtbags for life, something like that. And literally within 2 weeks, we already hit the next 1,000 and we're already going. So I'm probably going to stop posting about that, because it's just like,
it's just taking off.
It's exploding. So what do you see, as the next steps? Because people are listening, they're wanting to listen, they're wanting more. Obviously, we want to be more involved with the listeners, so kind of asking them for questions. For Garrett, for example, I think that's a really good way to get involved. But what are your thoughts on some next steps as we continue to grow the Dirtbags podcast, but also like the Dirtbags media group and the website and everything?
So I think, again, like you said, we've had really good downloads, really good traction on the podcast side. I think now we need to start building up our website to getting with our partners, right? We need to get, those good companies that we want to work with behind us and start kind of pushing that realm of things to where, again, probably our listeners, let us know what you guys struggle with. Let us know, if there's an area of weakness that you just can't find somebody good in that space. I bet we can find someone for that, right? Because then we want them on our website, but then we'll also, show that to you guys. So I think that's kind of our next steps that we need to take on. Granted, I think our guests are only going to get better and better and better. Granted, we have some really good guests, so it's kind of tough to top what we've already got. But I think there's so much more insight from a lot of people in that space that I'm really looking to scratch at too. And maybe they can help with some of those questions.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, it's not that the guests get better, but sometimes it's us as hosts get better. And
our questions get better.
Our microphones get upgraded.
Our microphones get better. Our drinks get better.
Yeah, things like that. So it's, and it's all across the board. And even Brandon, as the editor, he's getting better. He's doing some different things. And then we also will have more listeners as each episode is getting dropped, and more suggestions too. So I always say, we've said it from the beginning, we're an organized but laid back podcast where we can have drinks, we can swear, we can do whatever we want. But at the same time, we're going to deliver it in a way that is organized, that is thought out. We've got topics and questions and these thoughts going, but also, we deliver it in a way through our website, through social media, on every single podcast platform. We do put a lot of work into it, but we're seeing the fruits of that come out just from the messages from people and those listeners.
Correct.
Definitely the stuff that's like untouched territory, where people normally wouldn't go. Because I think we'll push that envelope and we'll go there.
I agree. I don't think we really have, the saying "no laws while drinking claws." I don't think we have like rules with talking to dirtbags.
Right.
I missed the catch line before that.
Yeah, it's the Dirtbags podcast. You can kind of talk about whatever you want. So
we don't give a fuck.
Yeah, it'll be good. But yeah, kind of as we wrap up here, I'm glad we got to touch on the episode with James. If you haven't listened to it yet, go listen to it. It is electric. We even have the video up on YouTube or our website, dirtbagspodcast.com. Our next guest, we got Garrett Williams at G&M Outdoors.
Drop your questions.
I mean, that one's going to be awesome. We're going to take the questions from you guys and use, Luke and I's own questions as well. That will be coming out shortly after this one. So this will launch on Friday. We're shooting for 2 weeks after that. So we're going to start cranking these out every 2 weeks and, just keep it rolling.
Hell yeah. One thing that I want to touch on before we go, Luke, you need to tell us about your Phaser Gala. I saw you guys gave $20,000 to the boys and girls.
It was like the perfect event, honestly. And so basically what it was is it's called the Phaser Fundraiser, and it was a black tie gala. Something I had wanted to do since 2020, but then COVID kind of, obviously got rid of events and stuff. But so, man, we came back. We did it at Detroit Mountain in Detroit Lakes, Minnesota. Everyone got all dressed up, so it's fun to see, people that don't normally dress up. They're all showered up in their tie and stuff, and yeah, we had a little over 100 people, and we raised $20K for the Boys and Girls Club of DL here. And dude, it was like we had a live auction, we had food, we had drinks. Like drinks are going around.
That's cool.
Adam Thielen signed helmet was like they got into a bidding war over it, and it was the most electric thing ever. So really cool point to that though is I kind of opened it up, and I was obviously very vocal about how excited I was and just how much it meant. And dude, I had people that didn't live in Minnesota reach out to me, other construction companies, people from around the US that were just like, Luke, like how can we come next year? Or how can we help donate? Or
hell yeah.
Can we like donate something to the auction next year? And I was like, this is what it's all about. I mean, that got me more fired up than any of my day-to-day stuff that I've done in business. And I love that stuff. But it was incredible, man. Just to see like everyone out there having drinks, having fun. My dad, shout out to him. He was doing all the entertainment and music, and
that's so fun.
So we'll definitely do it again next year. I already announced we're gonna do 100K, so I got to somehow raise that. So.
Hell, honestly though, I mean, with a lot of people reaching out, I bet it's very feasible. Again, I wish I could have made it, but again, I had that bachelor party. But no, I'm definitely going to be there next year. I know Riley will come with me, so we're excited.
Yeah, we'll get a few whiskey cokes in you, and then we'll make you bid a lot. So that'll help with the goal. And but yeah, huge thanks and shout out to anyone and everyone that did reach out, because it does mean a lot to me, to them, to everyone. One other cool thing, we should have the picture on our website, but 5 of our Phaser marketing team members were there, and I hadn't met any of them in person.
That's super cool.
Like, how electric is that? That's
so fun. I bet like meeting like the first time was like, oh my God, you're my boss. Yeah. Oh my God, you're the one that does all this. That's fucking cool.
Some of them I'd worked with for over 2 years now, and I just had never met them. So next year we're planning on getting the whole squad. We have a team of 12, and we're trying to get everyone out. One of our designers lives in Serbia, and he said he's going to get his visa and come up.
Come on over. That would be really cool.
It's like, dude, you got to do it. But
yep.
No, it was awesome. We even closed down Zorba's after, and took the boozy bus home at 3 a.m. It was great.
Love that. They actually picked me up from WeFest this year. The boozy bus boys. I was very thankful for them, because when it's time to go, it's time to go, and they were spot on. Yeah, you need to get home. So, but yeah, man, it was great. So anyone that is interested in either donating or coming, I mean, give me a shout, shoot me a message. I'll definitely get back to you on that. And
it'd be great to have everyone out. We're trying to have, 300 to 400 people just to raise that 100K. Like that would be a highlight to never forget.
That would be really cool. Hell yeah. Well, I'm anxious for next year, and I'm glad it went well.
Yeah,
so.
Absolutely. Well, that's a wrap on this Dirtbags episode. Get ready for Garrett Williams on the next episode. Luke, it's always good having a drink with you. And cheers, man.
Cheers. Everyone listening, send us your questions. Don't be shy. We want to hear them. We need them. And I'm sure you guys want to have some of your questions answered. So please send them to us.
All right, let's go.